We'll go straight from our studio then to City Hall in Cape Town. And Newzroom Afrika's Juniour Khumalo has been braving the elements down there, talking to various role players as we build the dimension ahead of the opening of the 7th Parliament in South Africa. Juniour, good morning. You spoke not too long ago to Thoko Didiza, the Speaker of Thoko Didiza, who is essentially just sharing with us the expectations from today. Everything seems to be going according to plan. There would have to be some compromises made in terms of the weather. Just sum up what she shared with our viewers a little earlier on, and then just paint the bigger picture ahead of that opening later today.
Indeed, Iman, we did speak to the Speaker of the National Assembly, Thoko Didiza, earlier on, and she just spoke about, given that the weather, it's raining, it's pouring actually here in Cape Town, given that there is that impact of the weather that is happening today, there might be some elements of the program, especially the outside part of the program, that might be changed. The parade by the law enforcement officials might not happen if the weather continues the way it is right now. She also indicated that even the fly past that is supposed to be done by members of the South African Army might also not happen, as well as the president standing in front of the City Hall there, where there's the statue of the former President Nelson Mandela. That also might not happen should the weather continue the way it is. But she did indicate that they will keep checking whether all of these things might be possible. But one thing that is not going to be postponed is that address, the opening address by the president that is expected to take place at around 7 p.m. But as my colleague Linda was speaking about the Government of National Unity, there's still a lot of people that have questions about how this is going to work. And one of the members of the Government of National Unity is the Democratic Alliance. And we do have a minister from the Democratic Alliance, Siviwe Gwarube. Thank you so much for joining us, Siviwe. On the weekend, you met with the president. It was a cabinet lekgotla. Do you feel that now there is an understanding of how the 7th administration is going to take the policies of South Africa forward?
Yeah, good morning, Juniour, and to your viewers. I actually think so. I think that there was a lot of understanding and meeting of the minds over the weekend as we were discussing the priorities which the president will obviously table to the nation this evening. I think that there's actually a lot more that we agree on that we don't agree on, which was, I think, perhaps a positive surprise to many of the extended cabinet members. I think there's a recognition that South Africa's economy needs to grow and needs to grow urgently. I think regardless of where you sit in the political spectrum, you understand that the fact that 7 out of 10 young people do not have work, the fact that 50% of South African households are living in poverty, that has to be a priority regardless of what political t-shirt that you wear. The fact that we need to, improve our basic education system to make sure that the learners in this system are not locked into perpetual poverty, that has to be a priority. So I think there was a recognition that our problems transcend political party divides. And the fact that South Africans have put us in this situation where we're in a government of national unity, it's made us actually realize that we need to find one another in how to solve some of these critical issues. So we are comfortable as a political party on what is going to be presented by the president tonight, because we are fully behind essentially really improving the lives of South Africans.
Now to ask you to put on your ministerial hat as your constituency sits behind us. What are some of the expectations as the Minister of Education that you have from the President as he tables this opening of Parliament address?
Look, I expect the President to put a large focus on improving numeracy and literacy rates in South Africa. That is in a 32 billion rand department, which seems like a large budget, but it is essentially 80% of it goes to the provinces. I really would like the president to focus on how do we improve literacy and numeracy. The reason why that is because one, that is our core business as a department, and number two, we've got to improve the number of grade 4 learners who can read for meaning by the end of grade 4. And once we start to do that, we have a showcase that these learners are going to be able to stay the course until grade 12, but also when they leave grade 12, they are leaving with the product, a certificate in their hands that can unlock economic opportunities for them. If we fail to do that, then we are essentially, as I said, locking an entire generation of learners into perpetual poverty. but also would like to see a focus on infrastructure, eradicating pit toilets, making sure that infrastructure budgets are spent. I don't expect with the kind of infrastructure needs that we see in the provinces and on the ground, I don't expect to see any of the provinces returning the infrastructure budgets back to the Treasury. I would expect to see accelerated delivery of infrastructure because, again, this is about dignity, not just for the learners, but also for the educators. We don't want educators feeling unsafe in schools. We want to make sure that educators are able to deliver a quality product to learners, but that can only happen when they are feeling safe, when their dignity is also looked after. So those two things for me are really critical. Infrastructure, where learners and educators are spending 8, 9, 10 hours a day, but also the quality of literacy and numeracy.
And today, the significance of the president delivering the opening address while the country celebrates Mandela Day. What's the significance around that?
I think firstly, I think it's a special Mandela Day, considering that it's been 30 years into our democracy, and I don't know, Junior. I think there's a lot more to be positive about the country than not to be, and while I'm not a Sangoma, but I think Madiba would be proud of us. I think Madiba would be proud of the new generation of political leaders who've realized that it's high time that we put the interests of the country first before our own political narrow interests. And so I think it's significant. It's also very significant to have Wynberg Girls High here today because, of course, Madiba was children, particularly children, were very close to his heart. And so they're going to be performing here. Parliament has invited them, which is really, really exciting.
Okay, thank you so much. That is the Minister of Basic Education, Siviwe Gwarube, just speaking about some of the expectations as a minister that she has from this opening of Parliament address that is going to be delivered by the President at 7 o'clock, Iman.
Juniour Khumalo, thank you so much for that. We'll be back with Juniour a little later on in the program as well.